Win streaks are one of the greatest things to watch in sports, and it's made even better by a team coming out of nowhere to accomplish such a feat. And with all the teams that have gone on incredible winning streaks in professional baseball, none lasted as long as the Salt Lake City Trappers in 1987. A team of players deemed not good enough to play in the MLB came together to do what no other team could. So, let's look back at this record-setting streak.
Totally sports-esque. Major League.
The Salt Lake City Trappers were in their third year of existence to begin 1987. The team was at the lowest level of professional baseball at the Rookie League, which is mainly thought of a league for development. Prior to 1985, the team played in Calgary, being known as the Cardinals, with their affiliation to the Cardinals, and then changing their name to the Expos when they became affiliated with the 1994 World Series champions. They then moved to Salt Lake City in 1985, having no affiliation to any major league team. In a sense, they were a men's league team playing against MLB-bound players in the very early stages of their career, and that can be seen in the players that made up the team. Of the over 1,200 players drafted after Ken Griffey Jr. in the 1987 MLB draft, none of them played on the Trappers. They were all former college players who were told they weren't good enough, and were looking for one more chance to show what they have in front of the scouts. For a quick overview of what players made up this team, one of those was Anthony Blackman, someone who went undrafted in part due to mooning Mississippi State fans after receiving racial taunts. The Trappers were a new lifeline for players like him, and they could all unite over the same sentiment. And while the team was made up of unknown players, there were a few known names in the ownership. One of those was Arte Moreno, the now owner of the Angels. This was his first ownership role in baseball, and went a long way in the Angels winning 0 playoff games with Albert Pujols, Mike Trout, and Shohei Ohtani. And the most famous name attached to the story is another one involved in the ownership, and that's Bill Murray. Murray only had a 5% stake in the team, but was very involved, often showing up to games and heckling the umpires to the delight of the crowd. And to this point, the Trappers have been very successful, winning 46 games in 1985 and 45 in 1986, and they won the Pioneer League in both years. So coming into the 1987 season, the players had the same motivation they had in years prior, with a chip on their shoulder. As they would say, we had a chemistry that just said, we don't give a damn. Whatever we do, we're going to do it together. But no matter the chemistry and urge to prove doubters wrong, they could have never seen the upcoming success that would put them in international headlines. To begin that 1987 season, the Trappers started 3-3, but on June 25th, they would never return to the 500 mark again, as the win streak began with a win over the Pocatello Giants. That same day, Coach Jim Gilligan and assistant coach Barry Moss, who would go on to appear in Moneyball, both went golfing. So being superstitious like everyone else involved in baseball, they decided they would golf every day until they lost, no matter the conditions. And well, they went on to play a lot of golf. The Trappers beat the Giants again the next night, then took 2 from the Idaho Falls Braves, including winning the first in extra innings. Then because of that, their designated hitter, Adam Casillas, had to pitch, and despite his poor performance in a tough situation, they won 14-12. They then took another 3 from them on the road to set their winning streak at a measly 7, and the reason this win streak wasn't in consecutive days is because of the reality of minor league ball. After their last game, they had to take an 18-hour bus ride to Medicine Hat, Alberta, where they took 4 games from the Blue Jays to extend their streak to 11. And win number 11 was the realization that an incredible win streak was possible. The Trappers pulled off the hidden ball trick in that game, but were trailing 7-6 going into the top of the 9th. Then to tie the game, John Boder stole home. Then to win the game, Anthony Blackman scored on a wild pitch. So to go on a record-setting win streak, teams had to have good fortune, and clearly, things were going their way. They came back for a 7-game homestand and took 4 against Great Falls. Then Medicine Hat took an 18-hour drive to Salt Lake City and lost all 3, including win number 17 for the Trappers that was aided by the Blue Jays' Will Fillard missing first base on a double that resulted in him being called out. The Trappers then went to Idaho Falls for win number 19 and 20, which set a record for the Pioneer League, previously set by Lethbridge in 1980, and that's when people started to notice. The next day, they received a phone call from Ross Nguyen of the Los Angeles Times, who said they wanted to publish a story about them amidst their quest for history. As PR intern Glenn Senager said, that's when it hit us. And as they started to gain notoriety, they went to Pocatello for a 3-game series. They won number 21 and 22, then came the most memorable game of the entire streak. Every long win streak needs that one game that was a complete miracle to keep things alive, like Scott Hatteberg's walk-off to get the A's to 20 straight, or the Indians' late-game comeback to extend their win streak to 22, or the Pistons' late-game free throws to extend their win streak to 1. For the Trappers, this was their game. The Trappers were down early in the game, and things started looking bleak when the Giants scored 5 in the 6th to take a 9-3 lead. And just as that was happening, rain clouds darkened the field. The weather continued to worsen as the Trappers came off the field, with their only hope being that the umpire didn't call the game off or the streak was over. As catcher Frank Colson described it, "I remember the silence in the dugout was deafening. Nobody was panicking, no one was angry, no one was sweating. And going back to baseball superstition, one of the biggest in all of sports was broken after this. The Giants PA announcer told the crowd, 'The streak is over.' The Giants manager began frantically waving him to stop, but he continued, and once again said, 'The streak is over.' And, like a scene from a movie, at that moment, the rain stopped and light began to shine through. Frank Colson even claims a double rainbow appeared over the dugout.
Double rainbow all the way across the sky!
And in the 7th, the Trappers scored 8 runs, thanks in part to 2 two-run home runs and a 3-run shot that put the Trappers ahead for good, as they won their 23rd straight game. After the game, they were able to steal the cassette tape of the broadcast from the Giants press box, and they said they listened to it on repeat for the entirety of their 14-hour bus ride home. And after that win, things really started to pick up. National media began swarming in. Reporters from ESPN to Sports Illustrated to CNN were there. Even reporters from Japan made their way over, as the team featured 2 Japanese pitchers, and the phones were ringing off the hook for tickets. And with the high demand, tickets cost as much as $400 for a rookie league game. Jerseys were going for as much as $90, and counterfeit t-shirts were being sold outside the stadium. The Trappers got wins 24 and 25 in the same day after beating the Idaho Falls Braves, and the next day, they beat the Braves again 14-4, putting the win streak at 26, which tied the 1916 New York Giants record-setting streak for the MLB, but still put them one behind the 1902 Corsican Oil Cities and the 1921 Baltimore Orioles of the International League for the longest streak in professional baseball. And in front of a capacity crowd, they got off to a quick start, scoring 6 runs in the first, thanks in part to a grand slam hit by Boder, as they cruised to an easy victory to join the Cities and the Orioles at 27 straight wins. So this set the stage for a chance at history on July 25th. 9,968 fans took their seats, and thousands more clamored outside. Scenes were similar to Wrigley Field, as some sat on top of trees, on the rooftop of businesses nearby, or listened to the radio. To calm their nerves going into this historic game, they talked to Max Patkin, the clown prince of baseball, who told them how he used to drink beers with Babe Ruth. And this helped them calm their nerves because it reminded them that no matter what, after the game, they get to go drink at the local bar, Duffy's. So they went out there in front of a crowd so big, it would make the Tampa Bay Rays jealous. And they didn't get off to a great start. Their starter was pulled with 1 out in the 2nd inning, with the bases loaded, and John Groner came into the game. Groner was asked to join the team a few months ago while at a pizza joint, when one of the Trappers' part owners asked him if he could pitch for them. He agreed, and now he was put into a huge situation where he triumphed. Groner held them, and the Trappers' offense kept producing. Colson would drive in 6 runs in the game, and Groner would pitch the rest of the game, only giving up 1 earned run and striking out 8, including the final batter looking to officially give them the longest winning streak in the history of professional baseball. The players were given a 10-minute standing ovation as the scoreboard read, "Trapped in history." They would then celebrate with champagne and cigars in the locker room. Colson's bat was sent to the Baseball Hall of Fame, along with Groner's hat, game programs, a baseball signed by the entire team, and Coach Gilligan's jersey. Fittingly, he wore number 29. When number 29 came the next night, when they beat the Giants. But the streak finally came to an end in Billings when they lost 7-5, officially putting an end to the longest win streak in professional baseball history at 29, a record that still stands to this day and may never be broken. The Trappers would finish the season 17-18, finishing the season at 47-21, only one more win than 1985, meaning they had a 3-3 stretch, a 29-0 stretch, and a 17-18 stretch. Despite finishing less than strong, the Trappers would end up winning the Pioneer League Championship over Helena for the three-peat. They celebrated with more champagne and even dunked Bill Murray in the clubhouse showers as a way to celebrate the end of the highlight of their careers. And it's easy to say that this probably was the highlight of any of the players' careers, considering only one player would make it to AAA, and none were able to make it to the majors. There's something in the story that almost everyone can relate to. In a sense, they are the Bad News Bears as adults, a team of misfits that were overlooked, that bonded over their shared experience and did something no team had ever done. And to have not just a minor league team, but a rookie league team make headlines in a time well before social media, it really takes something special. The streak, especially when it was taking place, drew some negative reception from the baseball world. Sheldon Bender, the Reds' director of player personnel, said they had too much of an advantage with all the college players they had, and others agreed, such as Gord Ash, who had that same role in the Blue Jays organization. Even Whitey Herzog, manager of the Cardinals, felt they were too experienced. But the Trappers weren't breaking any rules with their team. Players could only play on the same team 2 years in a row, and teams could only bring back 5 players from the previous years. Both rules the Trappers complied with. Obviously, those comments don't mean much when you consider that no matter the talent level, winning 29 games in a row, even at the lowest level of professional baseball, is an insane thing to do. Even stacked high school teams would have a hard time winning 29 games in a row. So many things have to go your way in order to complete such a feat. Whether it's stealing home in the 9th, a player not touching first, or the skies magically clearing when things look bad. It's why the story is incredible, and seems like something out of a movie. There were even plans for a possible script, but this never came to be. And now, the players only have memories of something that seems so unbelievable. And to prove it actually happened, they can go to the Baseball Hall of Fame to show proof, or go to a restaurant that holds a picture of the team and Bill Murray celebrating. The Salt Lake City Trappers went on the greatest win streak in professional baseball history that will only be topped when a team of quote-unquote rookies decide to join the Rookie League and set a new record.